on your radio every Sunday. It's DJ Fisho.
All right. Check 1, check 2. 3 minutes after 4. Right here, Eastern Time. And we ready to roll. Right here on yet another edition of Music for Your Quarantine Feet. In the last Sunday in the month of November 29th, 2020. As all attention from today heads into the last month of the year, December it shall be, and God willing we will be here. It's been a week, Thanksgiving week, right here in the US of A, as we took opportunity on Thursday to celebrate what a wonderful year, or what a year 2020 has been. Remembering the negative, celebrating the positive, and looking forward to a brighter future. And our hope is that future will include you right here on Music for Your Quarantine Feet, coming your way each and every Sunday so far. So far. Thank you that you're right here, a part of the living, as we look forward to 2021 and beyond. What a week it's been. Giving thanks, saying hi to each other, reflecting on the year past, and hoping for the best ahead of time. You know, one nice thing a lot of people seem to do this trip was to watch videos on YouTube. I got a whole lot of a whole lot of messages of people saying, "Oh, Fisho, we're watching your shows on YouTube, or we're listening to your music on YouTube," and that was cool. That helps getting a few hours on YouTube. So thank you for all of you who did. For those who haven't, please get on YouTube, look for Ekow Fisho, subscribe, watch the channels. Let's see where we take it going on the next level. Infantipim School and Wesley Girls. That was a wonderful evening on Friday, getting together, helping out your schools. And it was fun. I enjoyed getting together. And from the feedback I've received, I also want to say thank you. Shout out to you, Sylvia Kwabwa, to Lady G, Alinko, and the whole crew that put everything together. Nicely done. School reunions, a lot of get-togethers seem to be happening over in December over Zoom. And so wishing all the schools that are doing that all the best. Presec speech day on Saturday. You know my heart belongs to Presec as well. I hope everything went well. You'll hear from us more in 2021. For those of you listening to us live in Accra, Ghana, wishing you all the best with the elections. About a week away. December the 8th, I think. Wishing you all the best. Hopefully next week we can do something a little bit related to that as we keep our fingers crossed. Right here in the good USA election studio. Do we have a president? Oh, we do now, right? We do have one leaving and then one coming in. Hey, democracy, they be brutal, man. But who knows? January 20th, 46 will be sworn in. 45 will bow out. Whether it will be peaceful or not, I don't know. Ask my friend Ras Boogie, he will let you know about that. But this week was sad too for another reason. Man. For those of you who enjoy sports, he was arguably the best footballer of our generation. I know all the arguments about was Pele better and all that. Is Messi better? But man, Diego Maradona was the superstar, man. He made us enjoy watching soccer. And everybody has their memories of Maradona, Hand of God probably being the most memorable one. My memory of Maradona was not even during a game. It was before the game started. Argentina versus Cameroon in the center circle. Maradona has the ball. The captains have exchanged their pennants, and Maradona takes the ball and just, totals on his leg to his shoulder and going round and round. Oh man, anybody remember that one? It was World Cup, I think it was 82. Man, that was bad. But may his soul rest in peace. God gave each and every one of us a talent, and he utilized it well. What is yours? Music for your quarantine feed, show number 35, and our guest today, hey, man. Oh, Facebook cut us off already. Check and see. It says live here. Can't tell. Oh, maybe. Okay, we're okay. All right, cool. It went off. Probably went off on this computer. Just check it out and see. Our guest for today, the incredible, the one and only, Joe Mettle. Look, I spoke to Joe Mettle on Tuesday. Man, the guy is smooth. And looking forward to being here. And I'm looking forward to talking to him a little bit more. He's just a likable fella. And I know a lot of you like his music because, I've seen messages all across. And so this will be the time for you to have an opportunity to listen to Joe Mettle whilst I interact with him. What do you want to know? I don't know. We'll find out and talk to Joe Mettle as we get on there. This is show number 35. This is music for your quarantine feet. This is Ekow Fisho. Glad to be with you right now. Let's set the ball rolling. MQF 35 starts.
Le Storm in the mix.
On your radio every Sunday, it's DJ Fisho.
For everything you've done for us, Lord, we're grateful. I've come to praise you for your goodness and your kindness, your faithfulness and love you show to me. 'Cause even when I fall, you pick me up. Your mercy's avenue. More, yes, Christ, more. Hey, sing, I've come to praise you for your goodness and your kindness, your faithfulness and love you show to me. Even when I fall, you pick me up. Your mercy's avenue. More, yes, Christ, more. Everybody help me say, more, yes, Christ, more. Say more, yes, more, yes, Christ, more. For all that you have done, say, for all that you have done, and you will do.
With each passing week, you find it difficult to say, oh, this is my favorite Joe Mettle song. Because every time it changes. Every time it changes. And this is way up the list.
And said I wouldn't make it, but the one that lives in me is greater than he that lives in the world. He said he'll never leave me and never will forsake me. So more, yes, Christ, more. Can I take it one more time? Say, men rejected me, looked down on me, said I wouldn't make it, but the one that lives in me, it's greater than he that lives in the world. Said, he said you never, I never will forsake. No more. Yes. Come on, play on with me.
The unbeatable, the unmistakable voice of Joe Mettle. The man on the screen right now, our guest for show number 35. To say I'm overwhelmed and I'm touched will be an understatement. Let's go right to Joe Mettle at the moment. Give me volume on this one, please. Hey, mo. Yes, Christo, mo. Hey. I feel like I can sing this song on stage, you know. Not with Joe Mettle singing, but me singing. But of course, my talent is nowhere near that of his. And so as we welcome our guest on show number 35, his name, you know that already. Joseph Oscar Nyama Mettle. Full name, right? And if I were to go through awards, too many awards to mention. Best male vocalist about twice. Best video of the year, songwriter of the year, alternate song of the year, praise song of the year, vocal performance of the year, gospel artist of the year, and then the big one, artist of the year. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I mean, look, as soon as I put this out, there were a lot of people who were interested in listening to you today. Because they love your music, and others because they love the way you look, and they're all excited to be here. So I start reading out a little bit about what can I learn about Joe Mettle that a lot of people don't know, and then I find out that you go to primary school at Richard Akwe Memorial School, and then I start screaming.
Yep.
Richard Akwe is my wife's grandfather. My wife's mom's father.
Oh, okay.
And that was his school. We cool Jibo, We are family. So welcome to the show. Yes,
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. I could put the microphone down and let you speak for now. Because this question, if I started with like, who is Joe Mettle? What would your answer be?
Who's Joe Mettle? My name, like you said, full name Joseph Oscar Nyama Mettle. I'm 100% Ga, actually. Most of the time, people ask me whether I'm Fanti or Ga, but I'm actually Ga.
Yeah, you sing.
I just happened to pick the Fanti along the line, but I come from Asene, the eldest of 6.
Oh.
And yes, and then how do I say this? I am a marketer by profession.
Okay.
Yes, but I happen to be a worshiper by calling.
Oh, sweet. Marketer by profession, worshiper by calling. Ah, cool.
Yeah.
So what was life like before music?
Oh, life before music was, how do I put it? Work and survival. I'll put it. It was mainly work and survival. I happened to grow up with my mom. Because of how life was for us, obviously once you know Richard Akwe, you know where we proper came from.
Yes.
There wasn't much, so everything had to be you working very hard and making sure that you survive. My mother was a trader who sold, back in the day, he sold leaves that they use in selling rice and those like food.
Okay.
Before the packs and the robbers were introduced. And so that was what I worked with her most of the time until the rubber was introduced, and then the leaves went out of business. And then, so everything you had to do. I sold brooms, I sold canes, I sold kerosene, we did phone cards, every little thing you could lay your hands on to survive, because we didn't want to end up in any place that we were not supposed to. And then after point, my mother decided that she was going to do rice and wache, like cooked ones. So normally when she cooks, I come to the roadside and then I sell. Wow. So while she prepares the food from the house, and all that, until I was like, you know what, I think I can't do this anymore.
How
Because it
old
was getting, you know, not too,
decided I can't do this anymore?
maybe like 17,
Oh.
thereabout. I think 17, 18. I think what happened was, you know, that thing where you're selling and then people are passing and say, yeah, is that not the same guy who leads praise and worship in our church? You know, like wasn't. So at the point it was getting some way from me. And that was when I had to go into other things. But during that time, I was still doing the music on the side. I still led worship in church and all that, yes. But I wasn't fully into the music industry, like fully like I am right now. Right. So over there. And then should I finish it or you continue the questions?
Yeah, no,
okay.
Let's finish
so
it.
after that, I sort of like started having an encounter with God, because those times I used to play drum and it was mostly just work for me. I didn't really understand that God had a higher purpose for me. And so we just play, go to churches, play, and then they take care of us, all those things. And but over time, when I started having the encounter with God myself, things started changing.
How did that start?
Okay. For some reason, I think for me, it started with me wanting to know more about God, because I felt this void inside of me, which I wanted to fill. So out of the time spent with God, then I started hearing God's voice that he had more in store for me than just what I was doing. So it took me then the time to wait on God, wait on the gifts that he's given me. And over time, when things started making sense, you know, I started getting prophecies as well from other preachers and all that. And then when I got to know my calling, what I did was then that was when I started serving with other people that were already on the path that God had called me on. So I worked with the late Danny Nete for a couple of years. I was with Cindy Thompson also for a couple of years. Then later, I got the chance to be the lead singer for the all-male group Soul Winners for a number of years.
Now that's
before I
first heard your name.
Oh, okay. From the Walabolo time.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, that's all I knew over the past few years. I just knew, Joe Mettle from Soul Winners, and then he went solo, and then he's blown up. I didn't know about the history part until I started doing a little research this week. And the story is amazing. The humble beginnings, and you've kept it through. So at 18, 19, you decided, me, man, I can stand out on my own. At that time, At that time, had you decided this is it? Music is the path I'm going, or you were?
I've always knew music was a path for me, but then along the line, I wanted to do other things to keep it going. I think that my foundation was more being with my mom. She helped me learn more about business and other things. So even though the music was part of it, I had to put in addition a few extra works on the side as well. So I wanted to, because initially I wanted to be an architect. So I went to school to do draftsmanship for a couple of years, but I didn't get to graduate for the same reason. Then it was a financial constraint. But then over time, after I've worked for a while and I was able to, by God's grace, gather a little resource, I went back again to school. And then that was when I went to study the marketing. So I did the remedial course and then went straight to the university to read marketing. And so that was how it was for me. I wanted more than just what I was offered, if I should put it that way. Because my mom knew I wasn't going to be a bad, influence or anything.
There's no way your mom, anybody who goes to Akwe, you should know that the discipline is first class. There's no way your mom.
Akwe.
So like I said, the first time I heard about Joe Mettle, we were with Soul Winners. And I loved it because of the Jama aspect of the gospel. I like the praise. I like the I could play it all around. So that was cool. Do you still, now that you broke away and went single, do you still have a good relationship with the band, with the group?
Oh yes, I do. We do. In fact, one of the things that made me leave was actually school, because when I was in school, it made it a bit difficult to always be there when they needed me to be. And so it was becoming a problem, yes. And sometimes they had to go for a program, and maybe I also had an exam or a class or something. So it was becoming difficult. So I had to like quietly slide out. And then when I was done with school, I was like, you know what, there's more that God would want me to do than just, what we used to then do. So that's how I started. Totally, but the thing is, when I was with Soul Winners, I was still doing individual projects as well. So in fact, I was doing it before I even joined them.
Okay. All right, guys. Like Michael Jackson and his brothers, this is the real Michael, the star. but I'm sure we'll see collaborations pretty soon, right? Between you and them. Collaborations between you and Soul Winners.
Oh yeah. When the time. I mean, we're always. I think there's something that normally they would just. If I have a song that would work with Soul Winners, why not straight the same way with them? I'm sure very soon something will happen.
Okay. In Charlie, there's one of your songs. We tend to play it every morning when it's quiet. The message in there is serious. Okay. It's Onwawani, right? I don't know if that's your favorite song.
Oh, okay.
But the message, do you have like a pastoral thing in your future? You seem to have that aura where you're preaching. I mean, not just through your music, but even right now as you're speaking through, my laptop was breaking down. As soon as you came on, the laptop is looking like fresh and brand new. There's some aura around you. Are you looking at, something else down the line after the music is done? Pastorship, reverend?
Oh, I think it's not even what we look at is what or the path that God has called us on. It's a matter of time before. Sometimes He prepares you because already singing the word is still part of the preaching. It just happens that rather than preaching it, you sing it. And so when sometimes He moves you from that point and adds more to it, so you don't stop doing it, but then He adds more. So I actually already preach, but it's just that I don't do the pastoral, but I do preach about God's grace. And then, yes, so I do both of them.
All right. The amazing Joe Mettle right here. I just have to play that song at this moment. So let's listen to Onwawani, and then I'll come back to you guys.
Oh, Onwawani. Okay.
Yeah, let me play it from here,
let's go.
And then I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Lift your voice with me. Yes, oh, you are baby, sing on no casa. I think you know from any baby, Oti chance ni fasu.
The incredible voice of Joe Mettle coming through your speakers, your phone, your iPod, your TV, wherever you are listening, all around the world. Incredible song. Incredible song. So difficult for me to interrupt. But we have to do that as we get the show rolling right now with Joe Mettle back on Music for Your Quarantine Feet. This man, volume. This is something else. Yeah. All right. We have Joe back on. Okay, Joe. I was just thinking.
Yes, I'm here.
When you sit down and start writing, which is probably your gift, do you get nervous? I mean, do you have a conversation with the universe and say, like, God, do you really want me to tell this story in my song? I don't want anyone to know about this. Do you have that one-on-one conversation when you are thinking of what to sing about, when you're thinking of what you're writing?
So you normally necessarily don't have to speak about what you're going through, but you can rather tell it in the music, like you. So most of the time you realize it may be the same word that you say as everyone else, but then it sounds different or it hits differently because of the understanding or what you're going through. Sometimes you channel it all into the message that you speak out there. Or when it, for instance, was written because of something I was really going through and I was really trusting God for a miracle. You know, and when I prayed, that was the message that he put in my spirit, that he's a wonderful God. He's a God of wonders who does the things that are impossible to man. And so out of that response also channeled that message out of me. And then I was able to share with the world as well. So it works in different ways.
Yeah. Excellent. You know, today we're doing this Kofi and Ama challenge here. We're trying to raise funds for an orphanage. And as soon as I looked at you, I knew you were born on Thursday. So I just wanted to let you know that Thursdays. Oh,
you mentioned my name. You mentioned my name first.
Joseph. Joseph Thursday. Oscar.
No. You mentioned my name for the thing you do first.
Oh.
What's the name of what you're doing?
It's either Kofi. No, J. Kofi.
Yes. I'm a Kofi. I'm a Friday born.
Oh, yeah, Friday. Kofi's are Barbonis. Kofi's are Barbonis. You can't belong to Kofi's.
Not all Kofi's are Barbonis.
I'll talk to your mom and see. You were born at 11:59.
Oh no, I mean, obviously, yeah, but not. Okay, let me say it this way: not anymore.
Not anymore. We are not
anymore.
Cool. I'm glad we're doing this. Anymore. You know what? So it's amazing how the coronavirus has made certain things that happen. This radio thing, or I don't even know if I call it radio, but this social media outlet was started when the coronavirus came up and I was just bored. So we've been doing it for 35 weeks. Now, I said I was tired. I was going to take this week off. As soon as it worked out that we could get you on this week, I said nothing will move me. Joe Mettle today, we will definitely let the show come on. And so I'm so glad you're here. Listeners, talk of international reputation, number of sales, quality of his recordings and studio work, the depth of messages of his songs, demand for live shows. Our guest today, Joe Mettle, is miles ahead of anybody. Joe, I know you travel outside a whole lot, and I'm sure you had plans in 2020 to be outside either touring or working. Where were you in March when the world shut down?
I was in South Africa. So the moment I knew that we were about to get a shutdown, I quickly had to run back to Ghana. So fortunately for me, when I got the message, we finished recording on Sunday, and then we finished recording on Saturday and I left on Sunday. Okay. And then I think on Monday there was a lockdown.
Oh wow, that was lucky and quick.
Yeah, so I got back on Sunday evening, and then Monday morning lockdown.
It was lockdown. I left Ghana. When did we leave? Thursday. Friday we got the message, hey, people are coming, it's coming to shut down, and then Monday it was gone. I'm like, we made it on time.
I mean, but Ghana's lockdown wasn't too long, so it wasn't I think we're locked down for like just 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just 2 weeks. And since then, we've not been on lockdown.
Since then, it's been like almost everything is back to square one. But
it is serious.
Career-wise, how has it changed? I mean, I know you've lost shows. Well, I shouldn't say you've lost shows. Or shows have been postponed. Plans that were supposed to be outside have been, put on the back burner and stuff. What has changed career-wise? Have you managed to do certain things that you didn't think that you'll be able to do?
I think so, because I think that based on the whole Corona season, it's pushed us to do a lot of the virtual stuff that we didn't think was not acceptable, but would be appreciated like it has been. It's helped us to be able to get to certain places that it would have taken time for us to fly. And then in addition to that, it's even helped some of the people that have tried to invite us over the time to also spend less, flying you there, booking hotel, all those. It's helped them as well. And then in addition to that, it's made you be at different places at the same time and all that. So it's, even though it's put a hold on our traveling and all those other things, it's still opened our eyes to other possibilities that we could actually adapt and make work. So I guess, like they say, when one door closes, it opens
another one opens.
And so, yeah, so it's not been all bad.
If the world hadn't shut down,
like by now we'll be, So
it'll be a whole different ball game. But I'm so glad we made this happen. No, like I know. Okay. 2017 VGMA Awards. Let me go through it. So, awards for Artist of the Year: Sarkodie, EL, Miss V, Stoneboy, Medical, and Joe Mettle. Serious category. There's one guy who stands out a little bit from the rest because his genre is a little different, but cool.
Oh, yeah.
The MC stands up on stage. The auditorium is quiet. And then he goes, and the winner is Joe Mettle. And the crowd goes crazy. Some of them are screaming, yeah! Some of them are like, Namu. At that moment, what were you thinking?
I didn't have to think about anything. They had already said I won. So whatever. I mean, I think what I started sensing it when they said, for the first time. Oh. And then that was when I knew that, okay, no, AFA, somebody would say Afa. But I was overwhelmed a bit, and then also I was grateful because I knew that it was possible because I had the backing of so many people. I had the support of the entire country. I had the support of the entire gospel community. And so I knew it was a win for all of us. It was a humbling experience, but a good one too, for that matter. Yeah.
It introduced you to a whole different target audience. There's some who just knew him a little bit, but then suddenly they're like, man, we have to take this guy, we have to watch this guy out. So it
made a lot of people research.
Did it affect?
No, I
don't. No, it didn't. It didn't change.
Not at all. It was actually after that we wrote. I did Bononi. Oh, so I did Bononi after.
Whoa. Okay.
Yes. So so one of the things was I remember that there was a whole bash from the media about the fact that anyone that wins automatically goes down.
Yes.
So once I've won something like this, I'm done.
It's over.
Blah 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 blah. And people started giving pressure. You have to do something. You have to release something. And I said, I don't think that would happen because before the year started, I didn't know I was going to win something like that. So there was an original plan for me for the year. And so I still kept focus, and I'm like, I'm not changing anything because if God gave me these plans from the beginning, he knew I was going to win. I didn't know, but even he considered all that. And so I kept to it and I didn't change it. I mean, I remember one of the guys who was like, oh, even his concerts, it's only friends and family, something. And then I don't know what happened. I think he decided to come to one of our concerts. When he came, he didn't get a seat. It was a huge venue. He stood outside. So later he came, he said, I know I said this, but I take my statement back.
There we go.
And all that. He said, then he himself told me, he says, please don't change. Make sure that whatever you did to bring you this place,
keep doing the same.
Keep doing it. And I'm grateful to God that till now, God has been faithful to me. He's been faithful to the call that he placed on my life. And I thank God that he's even blessing many lives across the globe with it. Yeah.
Okay, so now you're a popular face. Everybody knows Joe Mettle, what you look like, and everything else. Do you sometimes walk into a store and people start by, "Oh my goodness, that's Joe Mettle. Can you please sing for me? Can we take a selfie?" Stuff like that.
It's normal. It's normal. I mean, I always say to people around me, I guess it's part of who you've become.
Right.
So sometimes you get to places and then people, I mean, I remember one time I was in a shop in New York and there was this young boy and he was tapping his mother. I said, what? He said, Joe Mettle. He said, no, it's not Joe Mettle. It's Joe Mettle. So then the mother came back and said, are you really Joe Mettle? And I was like, yes. Yeah. And then automatically she changed. I was like, oh, she was being very normal with me. And all of a sudden, said, can we take a picture here? And then I think there were some white guys who were like, sorry, who are you again?
Who are you?
Like, oh,
I'm a late
pressure.
champion.
So I mean, but it's exciting. At the same time, it has its good side too that it comes with, based on some of the things God has used you to be a blessing to people. It opens other doors. You meet people who sometimes show you support in terms of opening other doors for you, and so it's not always bad. It's good.
Yeah, I assume there are some who would also come up to you and say, I listened to this song or that song, and give a little testimony about what that song has done. For them.
Yes. Yeah. Too many.
Yeah.
Too many. As for the testimonies, they are amazing.
Plenty. My sister is a pastor in Ghana, Agape Church in East Legon. My brother is also one in Kent in England. And so as soon as you confirm that you'll be on the show, I call them and I tell them, Charlie, you won't guess who my guest is on November 29th. It's Joe Mettle. And then they both started saying, oh, Bononi is his life testament. I said, I didn't know. And I didn't want to ask them. I was going to ask you, what's the story of the song Bononi?
Bononi, like I shared with you earlier on about how I grew up and the places and the things that I've done and everything. And there was a time where I was just driving, even being able to, driving, it was a big deal. And I was just thinking about my life and how far God has brought me. And sometimes it was so difficult to pinpoint how I've been able to do it. But the whole direction I got was that it was just by God's grace. And it's that day before I was just by myself, before I realized I was tearing up, but it was out of gratitude and how happy I am and grateful I am that God can take someone who nobody regards and nobody even respects and place such a gift over my life and such a message. And out of that, I started just writing that song. So I just started saying Bononi, no one else. I can't pinpoint to anyone. There's a thing I tell people every time that if you can explain your success, if you can explain from the beginning of where you came from to where you are, and you can explain every single victory and every single success, then there hasn't been any work of grace. Because if grace is at work, you cannot even explain half of it. Haven't you realized that sometimes even how much you put in or how much you even spend in a year or a month or even your family, when you calculate it properly, you realize that what you receive, it's not enough.
Doesn't even add up. You don't even know.
But it's working.
Yeah.
That is the work of grace. But you realize that things have, it may not be as smooth as you want it to, but it still falls in place. But at the end of the day, something just comes through for you. And that is what grace has been.
Incredible.
And that was how.
That's incredible.
Yes,
and that's just how it happened. Wow.
That is how. So I just said, you know what, I am who I am because of you. If it had not been for you, I don't know where I would be, because I was lost and sinking deep in sin. I mean, sometimes I tell people, people assume that, I started and no, I grew up from Accra Central. So it's normal that we do the bad thing song. I was a bad, when I was younger, it was, because like I said, you had to survive. You really had to. So we had to, if you were not tough, you'd be beating up.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we also had to try. Oh yeah, like the fights and the But
Hey,
after we
you fought
got to know
some
God, we
too.
realized that. Oh yeah, I used to fight when I was young. I won some, I lost some. Sometimes
Oh
I was
yeah,
beaten.
definitely.
Sometimes,
Cool. One
know.
day when your kids ask you, tell them you want all.
Oh, but after all that, God could look at a man like me with all the flaws and my sins and says, I want to use you and forgive me of all that, and not look at where I came from and say, I've placed this over you. And sometimes you get to places and people call your name. You see head of states, like prominent people who,
I tell you.
and they still give you that reverence. Or if it's not God, I don't know who.
What else would it be?
I mean, I believe that even the men that helped were people that God used to be a blessing in my life. And that's why I sing that song, Bononi.
Wow. Look, at this stage, I have to play Bononi. Not the whole song, just a little bit. A taste
problem.
there for you guys to listen to.
All right, so this song is my testimony. Amen. Can I share it with you tonight? All right, let's go.
I am who I am because of you. If it had not been for you,
Tell me, where would I be?
I was lost and sinking deep in sin.
But you reach out your hand
And rescued me. No one else can do the things you do.
There's no one else but you.
I am who I am because of you.
If it had not been for you, tell me, where would I be?
I was lost and sinking deep in sin.
But you reach out your hand
And rescued me. No one else can do the things you do.
Oh God, there's no one else but you. So I say this. Bononi, Bononi, Bono.
No one else but you.
Bononi,
Nunca bononi.
Bono. No one else but you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Luigi McLean.
Never thought that you could love someone like me, to give up your life for me, yeah. You even go on and call me your very own. So grateful for your love, your mercy and grace. No one can do the things you do for me, yeah. No one else but you. Never thought that you could love someone like me, give up your life for me, yeah. You even go on and call me your very own. So grateful for your love, your mercy and grace. No one can do the things you do for me. Oh, no one else but you. No one else
amazing Joe Mettle with the song Bononi. And let me say this to everyone watching. Everyone has a gift. God has given each and every one of us a gift. Look, I'm a witness. Find your gift, expound on it, and do it joyfully. That is the key. Do that gift. Find it and do it joyfully. Otherwise, someone else will get the power and might not utilize it properly. And so we are grateful today that Joe Mettle is here, sharing his gift with us as God continues to build him up. Come on. Hey. There's no one like you. People say all Ghana people sing about the song. It's food. This one's not regular food. Bread of life music. Joe Mettle, what guy, man? I'm not gonna lie. I mean, come on, man. This is a champion song. It's a favorite of a lot of people. Do you have a favorite of your own songs?
Not really. I mean, each one comes with its own time and also experience. So the experiences that makes me like a particular song or their seasons. Yeah. So, but I mean, Bononi is still one of my favorites. Yeah.
Before I go, I'll tell you my favorite Joe Mettle song. Serious, okay. And I'll tell you why it's my favorite.
Okay.
But, we could sit here talking forever. I know it's late in Ghana. I really appreciate that. We talked about COVID earlier, COVID-19, and it seems now the numbers are creeping up again, seriously. Yeah. And people are confused. Do I go to Ghana over Christmas? Do I travel or do I stay home? What is going on? Let me just watch out what's happening. But I know there are people who are coming, those who live outside are coming home for Christmas. And one of the things they would have liked to do would be, go to a few concerts. Still nobody is sure. Did you or do you have any plans, concerts planned for the Christmas?
Yes. So we're looking at how the elections will turn out, and then they will continue. But every year on the 25th of December, we have a Christmas concert. So we're sure that if everything goes according to, I think that they probably may tighten up the protocol, but we don't know whether. But if everything is fine, then we should have a concert on the 25th, God willing.
Okay. This year you had something special on your birthday too. What did you do on your birthday this year?
So every year I have a concert we call Praise Reloaded in Ghana. One of the biggest concert I do in Ghana. This year we were not able to do it, but we still decided that on my birthday we'll merge it and then have a virtual edition of it rather than the usual way that we do it. Right. And then also that was also the day that we released the Yesumo, the first song we played. Yes, that was the day we released it as well.
That song is powerful. I have a friend in Austria. She listens to the show every time, Araba or Bain.
Oh, okay.
And this is her favorite. She was going through severe back pain, all the time, various medications and all that. For some reason, she's been listening to this song, and I don't know if there's any miracle related to it, but suddenly the back pain starts disappearing, and she just gives credit to Yesumo, and I'm glad you mentioned that. So I would like, something to go out to her.
We bless God. We bless God. I pray that whatever miracle God has started in her life will be completed, even beyond the back pain, that God will restore her in all things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. What's your final message to your fans before I even tell you what my favorite song will be?
I want to say God bless everyone, especially even online, joining us today. And also, thank you all for supporting my ministry and the call of God over my life. If you guys were not there to do so, things might not go the way they are. But I'm grateful to God for your lives and for every support you've given me, every prayer said in your heart. I am grateful, and I want to say that God bless you and increase you in all that you do.
Cool. And especially the Eduafo family for helping me get you on today. So, Doc and Jennifer, thank you from me, and I'm sure Joe has had a great time as well. Before you go, I'll have to let you do some a cappella of something.
Okay. Let me see what I can do.
Hey, champion.
Oh, small. Okay. I think I have some keyboard here. I'll see if it works.
Okay. Wow. The great Joe Mettle himself, man, playing something for you live right here. Week 35, music for your quarantine feed. Hey, Love Encho, she listens to Joe Mettle every day.
How can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Words are not enough to say thank you. Say, Lord, you're my everything. How can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Words are not enough to say thank you. Say, Lord, you're my everything. I call you Jireh, you're my provider. I call you Nisi, you are my banner. I call you Rapha, you are my healer. Say, Lord, you're my everything. Boy, I'm my thing now. Boy, I'm my thing now. Boy, I'm my thing now. Oh, boy, I'm my thing now. Yeah, say, boy, yeah. Boy, I'm my thing now. Boy, I'm my thing now. Boy, I'm my thing now. Oh, boy, I'm my thing now.
Whoa, the incredible, the talented, the amazing, the superstar Joe Mettle. And that was my favorite song. I didn't even tell him.
That was your favorite song?
Yeah, that's my favorite Joe Mettle song. It was like,
I see.
Anytime, you know, so I play weddings and parties and stuff. And then sometimes you get...
I get you.
Yeah, I like to meet the married couple, you know, have an idea what songs they want to play and all that. And then sometimes they'll ask me, oh, can you recommend a song that we can walk into? This is always my
and then that's...
Yes. And then they can walk in, how can I express my gratitude? And then it builds up. Man, you're a champion. Thank you for this.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're
welcome. Thank you.
Grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
To, you know, this small show, reaching out to all the people watching you, Facebook, Instagram, Zoom. We're grateful that you've been able to spend some time with us, no matter how late it is.
Anytime. And I want to say, I mean, I didn't get the chance to. I know Thanksgiving is over, but happy Thanksgiving to everyone again. I believe the whole week is Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving. I pray that in the coming year, you even have way more to say thank you to God for than you did in this year. Exactly. And so happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and God bless you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. We have
thank you.
All the people, everybody on Zoom says how many? We have over 100 people on Zoom. They're saying everybody loves you. On Facebook, about 300 on there, right? Everybody saying thank you. So they're so happy to be able to see you, be able to listen to you, and trust me, everybody supports all that you're doing. So God bless you. Wishing you all the best.
God bless you too.
Continue to build you up, and I'll see you when Accra opens up. When Accra
definitely Accra is actually open up, so
okay, then we'll see you.
You mean do you mean the other way around? Because Accra is open.
Okay,
no problem.
All right, we'll see you. Just be careful.
All right, definitely.
All right, as you know, that's my favorite song, and Joe Mettle was generous enough to play that live. As you grab your handkerchiefs on your screen, reach shield to this one. The amazing Joe Mettle. Man, how can I? To all of you who are crazy about Joe Mettle, enjoy for now. Let me shut up and keep quiet so you enjoy the music. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Music from the talented man, Joe Mettle. Right here, music for your quarantine feet. The man sings in Fanti, sings in Ga, sings in English perfectly. Studio recordings, top notch. Live shows, incredible. And we are extremely grateful to bring him to you right here, music for your quarantine feet.
What shall I render to you, oh God, for all the good things you've done for me? Everybody say, what shall I render to you, oh God, for all the good things you've done? Can we try together? What shall I render, say, what shall I render to you, oh God, for all the good things you've done? For me. Say, what shall I render to you? My soul, everybody say, you saved my soul, and I'm forever grateful for all you've done for me. You saved my soul, say, you saved my soul, and I'm forever grateful for all.
Amen. To all of you listening on Music for Your Quarantine Feed, yeah, that's it. Joe Mettle, Neso Dase.
Are you ready?
Thank you to each and everyone live. Thank you to Joe Mettle for doing this. Thank you to Dr. and Mrs. Eduafo. Thank you for putting that together. Music for Your Quarantine Feed, show number 35. I'm serious about that. This was the week when I was taking the week off. Just relax a little bit. But we definitely had to come your way. Next week. You've made your ears next week. No, I'm not going to announce who's coming on next week. Just hold on till the flyers come out. Digital Handy Crew Media will definitely do that. You want to advertise your business, you know who to hit up. Digital Handy Crew. info@digitalhandycrew.com. Thanks and praises to each and everyone out there. Every single fan of Joe Mettle. As we switch into Afrobeats now, and then Nana Sapon will come again in probably another 15 minutes or so. Thank you. Music for your quarantine feed coming your way each and every Sunday. You have made this show what it is, not me, man. We'll slow it down a little bit as we get into the garage. Welcome home. Welcome aboard.
On your radio every Sunday.